Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news, takeover news show. So, interesting news coming out today. A lot of stuff coming out on the goalkeeper front and a lot of news coming out suggesting David De Gea could be on the way out. The feeling is that this De Gea contract isn't going through, and the feeling is De Gea could be leaving. And reportedly from reliable sources, it came out today actually saying De Gea would actually prefer a move back to Spain than staying at United. We also know David De Gea got offers from Saudi Arabia. We also know Erik ten Hag said publicly on an interview that he likes De Gea, but he might not always be number one. And we've had multiple sources actually come out today and say, look, United looking at a keeper, Diogo, Costa, onana, they're all on the list. Jordan Pickford seems to be a fullback option or a budget option, which honestly I'd probably rather stay with De Gea. In fact, I think De Gea is better than Jordan Pickford, so hopefully not Pickford. But it seems that United is looking for a goalkeeper. If we get a goalkeeper, we really need a modern goalkeeper that's good with their feet. Diogo Costa, onana. I think Diogo Costa is better than onana. I think Diogo Costa is the best goalkeeper going forward, but we saw him in the World Cup on the big stage look iffy. If he goes to the big stage, could he be iffy? Whereas you see Onana on the big stage in the Champions League final, you're like, boom. Obviously, he's worked with Ten Hag before. Someone said to me that Onana and Ten Hag didn't have a good relationship. And I don't know if that is actually a thing or not. I know that phone's ringing. I know that he got some kind of ban or something, but I'm not quite sure. But lots of news, and actually the Muppeteers who get inside information actually just released a story that United are looking at Diogo Costa today. A lot of news on the goalkeeper front today, but also some takeover news. The United stand, Beth interviewed Ben Jacobs on the channel today. I've just seen some of the quotes from it. I haven't actually had a chance to watch the interview because I've just been literally out all day. I only got home 10 minutes ago. But I was looking at the quotes from that, and Ben Jacobs said some things about Qatar's plans if they took over the club, potentially new director of football, etc., getting new staff in, overseeing the board, and we will talk about that in today's video. And also Sky spoke about United pursuing Moises Caicedo. Also United to make a move for Mount quickly. Mount and Hojlund should cost United under £100 million, and I think it was Rob Dawson that said that United have £100 million budget to spend before new owners and could get 2 deals done before new owners because they have £100 million to spend regardless of who the new owners are, and then the money they have on top of that depends on obviously the sales, the new owners, etc., and obviously new owners to be found this week. So we've got some news on Moises Caicedo, mostly Hojlund and Mount in terms of deals that are likely to happen and more. So lots to get through in today's show. So I am going to get right into the news, and let me just take a quick sip. Alex said this: I did hear Onana and Ten Hag fell out during their time together, but not sure how true. This is the thing, I don't know if this is true or not. I heard a little bit about it, but I'm not sure. Shall we start with the goalkeeper news as well? Why don't we go for Robert Sanchez? I thought he's good. He's out of favourite at Brighton since they're playing Jason Steele. He's out of favourite at Brighton because he's really dropped off in form. Like 2 years ago, I was like, yeah, this guy's good, but I think United can do a lot better. I think people forget. I think a lot of people are really anti De Gea, that they almost take any goalkeeper over De Gea. And let's be honest, would you take Pickford over De Gea when you deep it? I know people are really anti De Gea, but is it worth selling De Gea for Pickford? When you get a goalkeeper, it's about getting the right goalkeeper. Yes, we want a goalkeeper that's good with their feet, good at distribution, and De Gea is particularly poor at that. But it's also making sure you get the right goalkeeper because they are so hard to replace. And I think, I'm not sure if he would be the right keeper. I think David Raya's good. I think Diogo Costa's good. I think Onana's good. But there's not many keepers out there that I think are real top quality that are available. Well, there are. But what I'm saying is, there's Alisson. He's obviously not available. It's making sure you get the right keeper. So we're going to get right into the transfer news, right into the Gea news. Oh, I'm trying to get into it, but my mouse just froze for a second there. Is the quality of the stream all right? Also, there was I'll touch upon this in the end, but there was an interesting story coming out that United might be announcing Greenwood's return this week. So we will talk about that at the end, but we kind of want to ignore that. Not interested as of now. So I need to share my screen with you guys, don't I? So let me go ahead and do that. So let me share my screen here. De Gea's time at United is over. It's kind of starting to appear that De Gea's time at Manchester United could be over. This was the Onana story. It said that, Chelsea will step up their pursuit of Inter Milan goalkeeper Andre Onana. He's the primary target. Inter want at least 50 million. United could rival Chelsea for the player. I think 50 million is a pretty fair deal. I hope United go for this. David Raya seems to be going to Tottenham. That one seems to be off the cards. Onana and Diogo Costa. Diogo Costa is 65 million. Onana is 50 million. Diogo Costa, I think, could be lowered to potentially £50 million because Porto need to raise the funds, and we will get into that story. But let's actually get into the news specifically. Specifically, I can't say that word. I'm talking. I think you think I'm talking about the Pacific Ocean, about De Gea. It was said here by Mark Ogden on De Gea. With his contract expiring at the end of the month, he could appeal to clubs in Saudi Arabia looking to sign him on high-profile free agents. A departure from Old Trafford is still possible. So Mark Ogden, first of all, comes out and says a departure for David De Gea is possible. We also had Matt Law of the Daily Times, and Matt Law is a fantastic journalist, saying, look, United are interested in, Andre Onana, Diogo Costa. It looks like United looking for a new goalkeeper. We have a lot of sources coming out today saying that United are looking at a new goalkeeper and that David De Gea's future could be uncertain. One of the more interesting things that actually came out in today's news from Mark Ogden was this. It said, after 12 years in Manchester, De Gea would prefer a return to Spain to be closer to his family, but there are no viable options open to La Liga. So signing a deal on an offer is most likely outcome, which is an interesting thing said. It appears here that no one in La Liga wants De Gea, and obviously he's got quite high wages. But what I think was interesting is, a couple of weeks ago, De Gea was about to be announced as signing a new contract at United, and then all of a sudden we're getting told, De Gea wants to go back to Spain, and Ten Hag can't guarantee De Gea number one status. And it's like in the space of a month, because I think the Sevilla 3-0, and from there it's really gone downwards for De Gea. It's gone from De Gea is going to stay for a couple more years to it's kind of looking like De Gea might go. It really is. Now, I don't know if he will go because United are the type of club to announce a new contract next week. But I think Ten Hag's like, he can stay and be my backup, but I don't think Ten Hag wants him to be the starter. By the consistent Diogo Costa links, Onana links, even the bloody Pickford links that I don't like, it looks like De Gea could be going. And the fact that he's going out and it's coming out and saying, look, De Gea actually would maybe prefer to go to Spain, I think is potentially interesting. Now, obviously, I think we should look at and wait for what Romano, Ornstein, and other people say on this. But it's always been said on De Gea, Ten Hag knows he's going to need a new keeper. Ten Hag knows he needs a modern keeper. It's always been said that by the Romanos, the Ornsteins of the world. But all the tier one sources have said, look, Erik Ten Hag's number one priority is a striker followed by a midfielder. Erik Ten Hag also wants a goalkeeper, but it's about the funds. Now, some people could say, we're getting linked to big money goalkeepers. Could we be getting QATAR and Bish Bash Bosh? You could look at it that way, but let's be honest. I think Ten Hag wants a keeper. I think we want a keeper. I think our chances of signing a keeper depends on the money we make through sales. Do we get money for Maguire? Do we get money for McTominay? Potentially who the owners are, who's available, because Diogo Costa and Onana could get snapped up. But I think it's more how much money do we spend on a striker and a midfielder? Because it looks like we're not going to get Harry Kane, Sky Sports just got a live stream on now titled United won't bid for Harry Kane. They know they won't get him. They know they're out the race, basically. It looks like we won't get Harry Kane, so we're getting 40 million Hojlund instead of 100 million Harry Kane, which could give us an extra 50, 60 million available this window that we thought we were going to spend on Harry Kane, but we're getting Hojlund now, which could potentially be the money we're getting for a goalkeeper. I think goalkeeping is one to look at, especially with the news today. But I will say this, and I can't remember who said it. It might have been Simon Jones of the Mail, but he said, the thing with the takeover is United are looking at transfers, but just you've got to wait until this takeover is done. We have an idea of what United want to do, but they won't start anything until this takeover is done. Someone said we need to sign Mason Madison, I was going to say, Moises Caicedo, and Ostenham. Madison, we've been linked to today. I think he will go to Newcastle, but apparently, I can't remember who said it, but we were linked to James Madison today. Sky Sports has spoken about United showing a big interest in Moises Caicedo, but he's not their number one priority, whereas he's Chelsea's number one priority. Ostenham, we've kind of been priced out of that deal, and United aren't looking at Matoma as well. Maybe we'll go for two strikers instead of Kane. I think we will go for Hojlund and another striker, or we might go for another winger, potentially a left winger. Because it was said, remember that confusing report that United wanted to sign a left winger? I thought that's weird, but then I was like, maybe he's going to play Rashford as the other striker option and bring in another left winger. So, we're not reliant on Sancho, who's iffy on the left, and Garnacho so young. So I wouldn't be shocked. Okay, hear me out on this. I think, and this could, especially if we get Qatar because of the relations with PSG, I wouldn't be shocked if United got Hojlund. I think we will probably get Hojlund by the sounds of it. I think if we can't get Kane, we'll get Hojlund. If United all of a sudden have a chance of getting Harry Kane, we're going to go and get Harry Kane. That is Ten Hag's dream. Yeah. But I think United will probably get Hojlund. I wouldn't be shocked if in August, we do a Neymar loan deal. I wouldn't be shocked. It's got United written all over it. We've got Hojlund, but Martial and Weghorst gone. We've got no backup striker to Hojlund. He's 20. He's too young. We need a left winger because at least Rashford can play striker. PSG desperate to get rid of Neymar. We're in the Champions League. Neymar will want to come. Reportedly, Neymar wants to come to the Premier League. I would not put it past. I'm not saying it's going to happen. There's no real credible sources saying this is going to happen, but I wouldn't be shocked in August, especially if we got Qatar, if we ended up getting Neymar as a left winger and Hojlund because we didn't sign 2 strikers. I wouldn't be totally shocked. Why buy a winger when we need a defender and a striker? That's what I was saying. I was confused to the report that United want a winger, United want a left winger, and the only reason behind that is maybe Ten Hag plans to play Rashford at striker more next season. Now, personally, I think Rashford's better on the wing, but we'll have to wait and see. In terms of defender, United are looking at Kim Min-jae. We've got some news in on United looking at Kim Min-jae today. I think I spoke about that in my video earlier, really. United like Kim Min-jae, but they can't make a move unless something happens with Maguire as well. I wouldn't buy him outright, but if Felix is available on loan again, I'd do that 100%. I generally think Felix was disappointing at Chelsea, but that wasn't the right move for him. And, he would have been so much better at Arsenal or United this season. I think everyone was poor at Chelsea, but Enzo and Felix, you could see at Chelsea, they had abilities that the other Chelsea players didn't have as well. We need a striker to help assist. We need a striker who help in assisting striker and a finisher like Haaland. I tell you what, I still think Gonzalo Ramos would be a good fit. Pardon me. I've always thought Gonzalo Ramos would be a good fit. As Diego says, we've got over 800 people watching, so please do smash that like button and subscribe down below if you are new as well. Is it true Sky Sports say Man United to make formal bid? Formal bid for who, Courtney? Because I can't tell if it's true or not. But I think Sky said that United might not make a bid for Kane as well. It looks like United aren't going to sign Kane as well. The thing about Hojlund is some people are saying Hojlund's price of 60 million. Some people are saying it's 40 million. So I'm going to go in the middle and say Hojlund will probably be about 50 million as well. A lot of people want Onana. I think Mount and Hojlund are the ones to watch for. I think the goalkeeper situation is one to watch for. I think Kim Min-jae is one to watch for. If I was going to predict our transfer window now, I'd say Mount, Hojlund, Kim Min-jae. If we don't get Kim Min-jae, I think we could go for Timber. I think Mount, Hojlund, centre-back goalkeeper. And then potentially we get another midfielder or a left winger on loan. You just don't know what United are going to do. We've been linked to Moani actually, but I think he will go to PSG. Qatar will spend like there's no tomorrow in the transfer window to stop City doing the treble again. Do you know what's good about City? Not good about City, but do you know what's good is that Bernardo Silva is going to PSG. Gundogan's set to leave City. Mahrez is set to leave City. City's elite bench depth is going to need replacing. Now, City are going, okay, Gundogan's on the way out, Kovacic. Yeah. Now, Kovacic isn't Gundogan level, but he's Premier League proven. He's a good midfielder. Kovacic is a bench option. We'd take that at United, 100%. City seem to be on it for the business. Calvin Phillips, Kovacic is their bench options. Ours is McTominay and Fred. They're still level ahead of us. But I do think City, if they don't replace the players, and a lot of players are leaving, they might not do the treble next season. However, City always are good at getting the players in the need, replacing the players, etc. as well. Both Champions League finalists have ball-playing keepers. It makes the team so much better. David De Gea's shot stopping is a warning, and he hasn't improved much. Other weaknesses as well. I agree. I said last summer, I'm not too bothered about if De Gea plays or not this season. I said last summer we've got bigger priorities. De Gea was one of our best players that season. De Gea, Ronaldo, and Fred were our 3 best performers last year. And Fred, when Fred's the 3rd best performer, it says a lot about the season. But last summer I was saying De Gea and Ronaldo were our 2 best performers. So for me, it's not right to get a goalkeeper. I still stick by that. I think, De Gea has done an all right job this season, but as this year's gone by and United have got better as a team, Casemiro, Martinez, Ten Hag said his first season, we're a top 4 team. We're not a shambolic team now, we're actually a team. Now we're at the start of our project. I see that we can't go any further with De Gea. I think it was the right decision to keep De Gea for another year because we have bigger priorities. I'd rather have signed Casemiro and Martinez than a new goalkeeper. They're bloody amazing. But I think now we've kicked on a level this year. We've had a good solid year under Ten Hag where he's had his first window. I think you can see that actually United to kick on do need a goalkeeper. And I was someone that said, look, striker midfield's always been our priority. But the more and more I watch football, I'm starting to think, you know what, goalkeeper is maybe a more important signing than I first thought it was. When I saw Onana, how comfortable he was, especially in that Champions League final, I went, yeah, you know what, we need a goalkeeper that can do that. We need a goalkeeper that can do that, in my opinion, as well. Onana looks class, so calm and comfortable on the ball, even under pressure. I literally was like, oh my God, that Onana, because like I remember Onana had the ball so up the high up the pitch, he was practically a centre-back or a midfielder. And City players were running at him, and I was like, oh my, like Onana, what are you doing? And he just passes it so smoothly. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, wait, this isn't De Gea. This isn't De Gea. Like, if that's De Gea, he loses the ball and City score. Like, mad. City are going for Guardiola. Yeah, that's going to be a solid signing as well. And yeah, he's been priced at like 80 million. The thing is, I don't get it. They've got Stones, they've got Ake, they've got Akanji, they've got Diaz, and they've got Laporte. I think Laporte is going to leave, and now they're going for Guardiola. Like, they've got all the best centre backs. Is that not me? Alice, we need backup for Casemiro. I agree. This is why I'm saying, on top of Mason Mount, we should go for Caicedo. Caicedo, Mason Mount. Because although I think Caicedo's best position would be playing next to Casemiro, he can offer Casemiro backup. Potentially Lavia could be an interesting one. There's a lot of players abroad that we've been linked to, but I'm not too familiar with. But United do need a DM. A lot of people spoke about Sangare, we were linked to last year. Tenol doesn't seem to rate him because he was in the Eredivisie, and you know that. Who was the guy that I wanted United to sign a few seasons ago? Cooper Miners, was that his name? Is he actually any good? Because I remember 2 years ago, I was like, oh, this is a young DM. Maybe United should look at signing this guy. I haven't watched much Atalanta other than the Rasmus Hojlund highlights. Is Cooper Miners any good? Just like a young someone that could come in as a Casemiro understudy. He's not that young. I think maybe Alan Varela of Boca is probably something that we need to do for Casemiro understudy, but I don't know if he's been good lately as well. Stones has turned into a midfielder. Yeah, Stones has had an unreal season. Absolutely unreal, turned into a midfielder. The way football's advancing, and Ten Hag loves versatility in players, and I think we're seeing with this City side how important it is to have versatile players. We're seeing, Manchester City play inverted fullbacks, players going into the midfield, etc., etc., etc. Stones has turned into like a midfielder for Manchester City, and we were actually linked to the Wolfsburg midfielder today. Completely forgot what his name is. We were linked to some Wolfsburg midfielder today, and I looked him up, and I saw he was very versatile. He's not the best player in the world, he's young, but I was like, versatility, I think, is what you want moving forward in terms of Ten Hag system more and more and more. But I've got some things to talk about. I've got some really interesting things to talk about. We've got obviously news of United going for James Maddison, more goalkeeper news, etc. So let's finish going through the goalkeeper news, and then we'll get more into the takeover situation. Is McTominay's the worst centre mid we have, probably. Caicedo to United offer Brighton, Williams, Maguire, Martial, McTominay. I don't know if they'll want some of them, but let's go for it as well. Cooper Mines is Dutch, McTominay better passing. Okay, maybe avoid then. Maybe avoid. And is Neymar City deal on? I don't think so, but you never know. Could be a Bernardo Silva replacement as well. We can challenge for the league next season if we get Caicedo, Hojlund, Kim Min-jae, Costa, and Maddison. I actually agree with that as well. And get Tony in January and we easily challenge. I mean, very ambitious, but I do agree with that as well. So continuing on as well. So we also had Matt Law of the Daily Times, a very good journalist, very reliable. Kind of agree with this story, but just kind of made it a little bit, added some new points here. He also said that Chelsea are not the only club interested in Onana and Mike Manigan. I don't actually know how to say his name because I haven't played FIFA in yonks. I'm not going to lie. I forgot how to pronounce half the players' names. With Manchester United, thought to be looking for a new goalkeeper. So he again, and the point of the story that's interesting is he said with United thought to be looking for a new goalkeeper. We're getting multiple sources come out today saying United look at a new goalkeeper, not just Matt Law, we've got Mark Ogden, multiple sources saying, look, United are looking at a goalkeeper. It seems that United are looking for a goalkeeper, etc., etc., etc. Just seen a video on my timeline of Jack Grealish saying, please don't go to PSG, to Bernardo Silva as well. I have to say, the Man City parade for their treble just looked nothing compared to our treble parade. I wasn't even alive when we had our treble parade, but the United one is absolutely clear. I want to talk about some other things regarding centre-backs. It was said by Rob Dawson that United are monitoring Kim Min-jae and Axel Disasi, but their priority remains landing a top-class striker midfielder, and I think that, again, might apply to the goalkeeping situation as well. Mason Mount, is that true? I mean, I think United are going in for Mason Mount, but And I think we probably will get Mason Mount, but there's nothing really ongoing. But it said that United are expected to actually put in a bid for him soon as well. But as long as we don't pay more than 50 million for him as well, in my opinion, we should go for the Anderlecht goalkeeper if we can't afford Costa and Onana. Brighton want him for only 16 mil, and we'll sell him for like 70 million to United in a few seasons. I'm thinking that now. Like, I'm not quite sure if he's United level, but I'm like, oh, Brighton are going for him. Brighton seems to get it all right, and we'll probably want to buy him in a few years. Like Moises Caicedo. We want to buy Moises Caicedo now. I feel like United always like have to go back and sign these players that we link to. And so maybe he's Moises Caicedo 2.0 and we want to go and get him. A player that I do think Man United have a chance of getting is Mouises Hojlund. Mouises Hojlund did an interview today and actually said, about United again. I mean, Mouises Hojlund said in the past he wants to basically come to United. He follows all of us on Instagram, and Mouises Hojlund creams over the idea of going to United. But Mouises Hojlund actually said in an interview today, "My goal is to reach the top shelf." And if you can say that Manchester United is, so it will be huge. So he's saying his dream is to kind of reach the top shelf like a club like United. But the more interesting thing that Mouises Hojlund said is that he's not actually had contact with Ten Hag. There's not been this video call that there's been reported, but he's saying the fact that I've been linked to such a huge club like United obviously shows him doing something right. But he never said, no, I'm not going to United. And we know that he signed for the same agency as Erik Ten Hag. And I think this is really one to look for, because it was also said on Hojlund, and let me scroll down to my notes, when this was said by Sky Sports, if I get this up on my screen here, it was said by Sky Sports here that Manchester United have made initial contact with Atalanta striker Mouises Hojlund as well. So definitely something United looking to do. Alex says Hojlund is class and is a technical creator as well. It's technical / a creator as well, but could be too high expectations to shoulder goal burden next term. And yeah, and I agree with this. The only thing I'm worried about Hojlund is I like the guy. He looks good. He looks technical. He looks like he's going to be a baller, but we need a striker that's ready to come in now and score 20 goals. Can we really be relying on someone that turned 20 2 months ago to go and do that? And, he could be Haaland. When Haaland went to Dortmund and he just banged in goals. You never know. Haaland, not too different in name, both blonde. But that's the thing. Is he ready? How Man City got Julian Alvarez? We almost want Hojlund to be our equivalent of Julian Alvarez, someone that we slowly integrate in. I think that is the one worry. We need another striker on top of him, most definitely as well. Caicedo, Hojlund, Timber / Kim and Jay will be a good addition. I agree. The thing is, if I'm being honest, Caicedo, Mount, Hojlund, Kim and Jay, Diogo Costa, and another striker for me would be the ideal transfer window, like a Gonzalo Ramos or someone that's potentially more ready. There is, and I'm going to I don't want to really talk about it, but there was an interesting rumor about Greenwood coming back. Let me get up. I think it was said by Faz. Was it said by Faz? Was it Faz? Let me check. I think it was Faz, because I knew it was someone that I've spoken to before. So yeah, this is from Faz. And I think this is interesting because I always call out the BS accounts, the ITK accounts, but Faz has obviously been on the channel, and I know when I spoke to him, he's not the type of guy to just put something out for clicks or views. Like, he wouldn't put this out unless he genuinely believes this is true. I always call out the BS accounts on here, but I know Faz, he most of his tweets, and he never does this kind of stuff, exclusive stuff. And for him to tweet this, he's generally been told something where he thinks that this is true. And that, obviously the source that he's got this from could have lied to him or misheard information, etc., etc. But I thought this was really interesting because, Faz has said here, exclusive, Mason Greenwood is planning to come back to Manchester United. A very close source to him has told me he's already looking forward to next season and started training and preparation. Official announcements and comms will be out soon. So Faz has obviously heard this from someone that he trusts. And, again, as I said, I believe Faz here that he's got this information from someone. And that's interesting. Obviously, we have to wait and see what happens. But he's saying Greenwood is planning to come back to United. A very close source has told me that he's already looking forward to next season and start training preparation. Now, I think since Greenwood's charges were dropped, I think he has started training. I think he has started preparation for football. He's a professional footballer. He wants to get back into his career. I still think he'll go out on loan. Because I think United aren't ready to make a decision on him. If he goes out on loan, United can see how the public reception of him is on loan, how people respond to him in crowds on loan, but also United can see if he's a good player or not on loan. If he goes out on loan and he stinks up the park, United are like, we can sell him. He never plays for United again. we don't have to deal with the crap that comes along with bringing him back, because people aren't going to be happy, you know. But if he's really good on loan and he scores loads of goals, United might go, yes, a lot of people are going to have a problem if we bring him back. Brands might have a problem, but this guy has scored 25 goals on loan. If we bring him back, that's going to save us a lot of money. Because I think United's decision on Greenwood will come down to business. People feel very strongly on this. People think that he should come back because he's back with the girl and the charges have been dropped. And other people go, look, we all heard those audio notes, those voice notes, they were disgusting, they were vile. You cannot let him back. You know, just because he hasn't been found guilty doesn't mean he's innocent. And people have very strong opinions on this. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people that will feel uncomfortable if Greenwood comes back. So I still think United will loan him out. I think he will come back to training, though. I think he's been preparing to come back and play football. I think he will play first-team football next season, Mason Greenwood, but I don't think he'll play for United. But I think the announcement and comms that Faz is saying could be that he will come back to training. I wouldn't be shocked if he comes back to training, he trains for the squad again. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think he will play a match, but I think he'll be in training with the squad, with the team, etc. Because there was that report. Now, the report did come out from the Sun, so take it with a pinch of salt. But the reason I thought that he might not come back is because we were hearing that the women's team and a lot of the players in the men's team had a big problem with Greenwood coming back. We were told that, you know, a lot of people felt uncomfortable with Greenwood coming back. But then it came out saying that Ten Hag and the players are open to Greenwood coming back. That's what's come out. You know, what has Weghorst done to them? No, I'm joking. But it has come out, and it was by the Sun, that a lot of people were open to Greenwood coming back at United. They also did a report saying as part of Greenwood coming back, he would do an interview, clear up the air. They would use the fact that he's back with the girl, getting married to the girl and having a baby with a girl to clean his public image. Now, I'm not saying that that is right, but I'm saying that's what United might do. So I think this is one to keep an eye on, because not only will this be the week that we finally get some clarity on the takeover, but I think this will be the week where we're going to really get some clarity on what goes on with Mason Greenwood. And, you know, this has been something that's been going on for a while with Mason Greenwood, and just so much fake news and this and that about it, that I think for the sake of our sanity, we need to know what's going on with Greenwood. More importantly, we need to know what's going on with the takeover, and then we can get into the transfer business. But I did want to cover that because obviously we were talking about attackers, attacking options. This could be someone that could be playing for United next season, but I don't think he will. Alex says a loan makes sense, gives us some time to make a decision down the road as well, and I agree. And look, Amad Diallo better than Greenwood, and look, if there's one youngster I want back and playing for United next season, it is Amad Diallo. I'm with you on that. Gahan says he'll go out on loan, he'll be brilliant, he will be back at United, and that's what you think. I mean, we don't know. I don't even know if he'll be the same player, but I think United's decision will come down to actually, is it worth the money bringing Mason back or not? Because it can ruin the brand reputation. It will anger fans. There will be money lost if you bring him back. But if you bring him back and he's so good and he's high on the level scoring goals, you know, he's saving United money that United won't care about the initial money lost for bringing him back. I think it's all a financial decision. And I think that he will go out on loan as well. But I don't like talking about the Greenwood situation because people feel very strongly either way. And I just think, you know, it's a situation that we don't know all the facts. We don't know what's gone down. We don't know every detail, but it's not a nice thing to talk about. And the voice notes and audio notes weren't nice. I think he will go out on loan, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Let's dive into some slightly nicer stories on a nicer note as well. One sec, sorry, I was just reading a text one there, and let me find it. I want to talk about Moises Caicedo here. This is the story I was looking for. I have like notes with all the stories up, and then I just copy and paste it into Twitter because that way then I can get it up on the screen. And this was an interesting story by the Sky, and they said that Manchester United have asked to be kept informed on Moises Caicedo and like any developments. I think United like Moises Caicedo. I think he's on their radar. But monitoring FC, we are monitoring FC. United have been known as monitoring FC for a very long time. And I think while I love Moises Caicedo and I want him at United, you know, I want to believe that United are going to sign Moises Caicedo. But I just think we're so focused on Mason Mount. I wish our focus was on Moises Caicedo and not Mason Mount, because reportedly he's a United fan. And, you know, he's only going to be 10 million more than Mason Mount, you know, and I think he covers so many more bases, DM, inverted right back. I think if you sign Mason Mount, we need to play a fullback inverted to help with the midfield. So you could sign Mount and Caicedo and complement each other really well. But the fact that United are wanting to be kept informed on Moises Caicedo and monitoring him, I think he's definitely a player United are interested in. but it doesn't seem that he's a priority. I think Moises Caicedo comes down to, if we get Qatar, if we sell a lot of players and we have a big budget, we will stretch for Caicedo and Mount. But I think it's one of those where I think it's like United have other priorities, because Ben Jacobs actually said something quite interesting today. Ben Jacobs went on the United stand today and was interviewed by Beth, and this is what Ben Jacobs had to say regarding that case. He said Brighton are going to want as absolute minimum 70 million guaranteed, with an extra 10 million for Moises Caicedo. Manchester United are interested, but he's not as big a target compared to other clubs and players. So again, he's kind of saying, look, Moises Caicedo is going to cost United probably 70, 80 million pounds. They like him, but because of his price, he's not a big target. I think it might depend. I think if Arsenal will get Rice, I don't think they'll get Caicedo on top of Rice, despite Arsenal fans' delusions. Chelsea want him. I do think we can beat Chelsea to him as well. Maguire, Williams, McTominay, Martial to Brighton in exchange for Caicedo. If only we could do that, but I don't think Brighton will want our crap as well. And Alice, we need to sign young players for the future stars. Eric Ten Hag could build the structure up, I believe. Yeah, and Caicedo at 21 years of age, I think would be an absolutely perfect guy to do that as well. If that's true, it's baffling. We need Caicedo way more than our rivals. Exactly. We need Casemiro cover, because when Casemiro doesn't play, we are like a sinking ship. But we also need Caicedo to play next to Casemiro, the energy, the versatility, like how good he is, technical qualities, progressing the ball, takes the ball to the centre-backs, can deal with the press. Like, so much we need. Like, I mean, realistically, when I describe my dream midfielder, I do describe Frankie de Jong. But that name shall not be mentioned. But Moises Caicedo, I think, is what I want now. Frankie de Jong's the dream, but I know that's not going to happen. Moises Caicedo is a possibility. Do I think he's going to come? No, but it's still possible. And I just think he ticks so many boxes. I think he will be so good for United. And it really frustrates me that we're not more interested in him, or we're not more in for Moises Caicedo, because I think he's just unreal. We're going to actually get into what Ben Jacobs has said on the United stand today. Did a good interview with Beth. So definitely go check that out if you've not watched it. But I've got a few quotes from this. And he said there won't be an extra preferred bidder stage. Once they're chosen, it will go into full completion. This is good news. This is good news, okay? Because I think one of the reasons for the delay, and well, what this means is, it's not okay. Someone's going to be picked as a preferred bidder, then they're going to do all the paperwork. What's been said with the takeover is both the 9-2 Foundation and Sir Jim are doing the paperwork, doing all the things that need to be done. So when a preferred bidder is named, when the Glazers make the decision on a preferred bidder, they can then just complete it. And they won't need to name a preferred bidder or someone going to an exclusive period. They can just work on signing it off and completing it, which means that maybe we're 2-3 weeks ahead of what we would have been if a preferred bidder was named. In that sense, because normally you name a preferred bidder and then you do what we're doing now with both Sir Jim and Qatar, and then you get it completed. They're trying to do the groundwork done, name the preferred bidder, then get it signed off with one of the parties. The positive for me is that they've been doing this for weeks with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and all of a sudden when they start doing it with Qatar as well, they're ready to name the preferred bidder. Were they doing? I sometimes think, and this is just me thinking, were they doing everything they could with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, getting everything done without naming him as a preferred bidder, in case Qatar came and gave them the offer they wanted? Because why have they been doing this with Sir Jim Ratcliffe for a month but never signed anything off? Was their plan to have Sir Jim Ratcliffe there as a fallback option if they didn't get what they want from Qatar? So they were doing everything they needed for Sir Jim Ratcliffe, but they weren't going to sign anything just in case Qatar came in with the offer they want. This offer from Qatar is very close to Sir Jim's valuation. It's said to be significant from reliable sources. Qatar, who were out of the race, are now back in the race. Have the Glazers all of a sudden got the bid that they want from Qatar? Because we know they wanted a bid from Qatar. The fact they went to PSG to get a bid from Qatar, and have now gone, well, let's do what we've done with Sir Jim with Qatar. But if there's a problem with Qatar, at least we've done it with Sir Jim, and then sign off Qatar. Because they've been doing this for weeks with Sir Jim, but they never signed him off. And I sometimes think, were they preparing Sir Jim, but still hoping for another offer from Qatar? Because I think all along they've wanted Qatar. I think all along the Glazers wanted Qatar. I think the fact that they've gone to PSG to try and get a bigger bid from Qatar, I think this whole time the Glazers have wanted Qatar. But I think they thought they weren't going to get what they wanted from Qatar, so they were getting everything ready for Sir Jim Ratcliffe because there was pressure on them. They knew it needed to be done by this transfer window opening, so they're like, let's get everything officially done with Sir Jim, but let's not sign it just yet because Qatar could offer us what we want. And reportedly, the Qatar's offer so close to Jim's in valuation now that maybe Qatar have given them just enough, and they're going to go with Qatar. Like, my gut has always thought, for the last 3 weeks, I thought it was going to Sir Jim, but my gut right now thinks it could be going to Qatar, because I think they I think they want Qatar. I genuinely believe that they've wanted Qatar, but they weren't happy with the bid, and they were like, okay, why has it been delayed so much? Because they weren't happy with these Qatar bids, so they're like, okay, we're probably gonna have to go with Ratcliffe, but they weren't signing anything off with Ratcliffe because they were still holding out for some hope for Qatar, so they went to PSG. And now they've gotten what's reportedly a significant enough bid from Qatar to actually go into these talks of reign over Qatar. Part of me thinks, this is interesting. Now, this is just me thinking. There's no news to back this up, but I do have a bit more positivity towards Qatar. I still think it's 50-50, but I really, generally, 3-4 days ago, a week ago, I generally thought it was Sir Jim. Now I'm thinking, part of me has a feeling. It's part of me has a Qatari feeling. But at the same time, we've just been told the decision comes down to whether the Glazers want to retain a stake or completely sell the club. It's a 50-50, and we have to see what the Glazers pick, We seriously do. People have to understand Qatar won't give United an unlimited fund that the FFP exists. Deadwood is at United's massive wage bill issue, terminating contracts will affect items for budget. And you make a point there. There's ways to get around it, but true. A positive in Qatar's favour is that we see movement after yet another Qatari improved bid. Jim's offer in terms of percentage, he's actually buying is getting worse. Yeah. And I haven't really spoken about this in too much depth, but I think I brought it up the other day. So Sir Jim, we were getting told this whole time that Sir Jim had basically offered for 50% of the club, and he'd offered 3 billion. It came out in the report yesterday that he'd offered 3 billion for 60% of the club, but that had never come out before yesterday. The reports are coming out that it was 3 billion for 50% of the club, 3 billion for 50% of the club, and now we're getting told it's 3 billion for 60% of the club. And why I think that's significant, and that only came out yesterday, it's never come out before this, is because the amount of money Sir Jim's paying per share reportedly has gone down massively since this new big Qatar bid. Maybe the stories that Sir Jim was in the lead and Sir Jim was in pole position and that, all these stories about Sir Jim being in the lead and Sir Jim being in pole position and this and that, then went and spoke about how big this Sir Jim bid is and how massive and impressive the Sir Jim bid is. And it almost makes me think, well, were they lying about the bid? Were they saying the bid was bigger than it was and talking about how impressive the bid was? In these stories leaked as a negotiation tactic to get more from Qatar, because now they've seemingly got the bid in that they want from Qatar. Sir Jim's actually paying that much for 60% and not 50%. So he's actually paying a little bit less per share than what they were putting out. Potentially they were putting out that he was paying this, 3 billion for 50% of the club because they wanted 6 billion for 100% of the club because that's the Glazers. And they were like, well, this is the only way Qatar can win it. We're going to make them and we're going to manipulate them into paying the 6 billion. And Qatar saw through it. Potentially there's so many ways we can look at stuff with this takeover, and it's a lot of a speculating game, and I don't really like speculating game. But Alex said here, so Jim was originally buying 70% with no Glazers, then 50% with 2 Glazers, and now 50% keeping all the Glazers. He wants to spend less, and Sir Jim's bid keeps changing. I don't think we actually know what Sir Jim's bid is as well. I got to compliment Qatar's patience. I mean, honestly, if we're fed up with the takeover, how fed up do you think Qatar is as well? The Glazers see this as a game, don't care about longevity of the club. If I had 7 billion now, they would take it 100%. And Ratcliffe isn't a United fan. Well, I don't think he is if he wants to keep the Glazers here 100% as well. Someone said here, I will not forgive United if they don't buy Onana. He is good at goalkeeper and he's playing goalkeeper, central defender, DM, holding midfield at the same time. Yeah, look, Onana would be fantastic, but I have a feeling it's unfortunately going to go to Chelsea because that's what United do. Is Caicedo good at creating chances? He's all right at it. He's not elite, but he's definitely someone that can learn and grow and get better with it as well. But definitely some positivity in the news for Qatar. Shall we continue, Alex? Because I've only got into a little bit of what Ben Jacobs said, and he said quite a lot of really good information on the United stand today. Ben Jacobs also said The 9-2 Foundation know that there's lots of work to do, not just an overhaul in one department. They want to get a move on. Should the bid be accepted as quick as they possibly can? So they actually start talking about what Sheikh Jassim's plan is. Ben Jacobs starts talking about the 9-2 Foundation, what Sheikh Jassim's plan is. And they're saying, first of all, they're fed up with the takeover. It's gone on 7 months. They want it done. But they know when they get to United, there's a lot of work to do. And they're talking about overhauling a department. They're talking about, changing Murta, changing Arnold, completely changing the board, the recruitment, the scouts, the whole way the club operates, on top of the stadium, on top of the new players, on top of this, on top of that. They're saying, Qatar want this bid done quick because they've got a chance to win it. They want to sign the players, but they actually want to change the board and all of this as well. And Ben Jacobs said something interesting here. Ben Jacobs actually said that Qatar will conduct a 100-day review of the board to see who stays and goes. They want to get a lot of people off the board. And he said that Manchester United's budget and summer plans won't be significantly altered once the takeover is complete. There will be the usual changes and discussions regarding which kind of players to sign. So he's saying, Man United's summer plans aren't going to change depending on the owners, but there's just going to be discussion about it. But what the owners will be doing is they'll be doing a review of the board to see who gets stays and goes. Ben Jacobs did say that United have, and I think Rob Dawson said this as well, an initial budget of 100 million to spend regardless of the owners, and they want 2 early signings, and then the other signings do slightly depend on the money that the new owners will invest, whether it's Sheikh Jassim or Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He did say something interesting here, Ben Jacobs, and I'm going to get this quote up on the screen regarding the takeover, because I do think this was a very interesting point from Ben Jacobs. So let's get this up here. He did say there's more of a positive mood now in the camp of Sheikh Jassim. What Sir Jim Ratcliffe has done and tried to avoid is the head-to-head with Sheikh Jassim, but there's a lot more positivity in the Qatar camp that they're going to be getting it. And there's it's been said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe might not be as confident as he once thought he was as well. So yeah, interesting. Guys, please do smash that like button, and of course subscribe down below if you're new, and share the video as well. There's a lot of stories coming out on Diogo Costa today. Man United potentially signing Diogo Costa. I do want to get into those a little bit as well. But there are reports that Sir Jim Ratcliffe might be a little bit less confident than he first was. But again, there's a lot of rumours and speculation with the takeover. Nothing's really official, but look, we'll have to wait and see. A lot of it is rumours with the takeover as well. But it's looking more positive for United. And I'm literally scrolling down Twitter now to try and find the story. So hence why I was probably just repeating myself because I lost concentration there. But every time I scroll down Twitter, it's people going, "Oh, Qatar's done, Qatar's done, Qatar's done." Look, I wish it was, but it's not. I wish it was, but it's not. There's a lot of fake stuff out there. And once we do get official proof that Qatar or Sir Jim Ratcliffe has done, there would, of course, be a video or a live stream to update you guys on that. So, of course, do subscribe. But I want to get into some stories on Diogo Costa. And I'm pretty sure the Muppeteers put out an interesting story on Diogo Costa. But I can't find it, which is annoying. But I think the Muppeteers said something about United pursuing Costa. Sabitzer is leaving. Yeah, I think Sabitzer will go. Manchester United unlikely to bid for Kane, says Sky Sport at present. Yeah, I think if Kane's off the table, I think Hojlund will happen. The board will stay for another season. They'll be fighting for their jobs. Potentially one more season because Qatar might be like, look, we want to get rid of the board, but we need to sign players. We've only got limited time. Guys, we're on 270 likes. Let's push for 300 likes before the end of the live stream. So please do smash the like button. Big up Diego as well. The board is like 65% glazes and the rest glazer alleys. The Qatar will have to gut the board 100%. Get the Glazers out as well. I think Onana and Ten Hag had fallen out at the end of their season at Ajax, so really wasn't considered United. Potentially, I know a few people are saying that, but I'm not sure. I definitely need to read up on that as well. Is Mount a replacement for Van der Beek? I would assume so, but I think Eriksen's Van der Beek's replacement, and Mount goes on the starting 11. If anything, we should get a Gravenberch from Bayern, seeing as he hardly plays. I think Gravenberch would have been so good for United, but United just don't. I think United actually did inquire about him on loan, and they said we won't give you Gravenberch, but we'll give you Sabitzer. Even though Gravenberch was playing less than Sabitzer, I think maybe because Gravenberch was a new signing, they were like, don't quite want to give you Gravenberch yet. My whole Twitter feed is just clips of Jack Grealish absolutely off his face. I have to say, I actually do quite like Jack Grealish. Yes, he dives, but he's just quite fun, isn't he? And I don't actually have a problem with him. City do have some likeable players, which I don't like. But they also have some dislikable players as well. But all interesting on City as well. It actually came out today that Pep Guardiola could be leading Manchester City next year or 2 years, I think, which would be good for United as well. We're on 63.5k subscribers, guys, so big up everybody watching today's video. I am probably going to wrap up the live stream here, to be honest. We are 25 subscribers away from 63.6k, so please do subscribe if you're new, because I do give you all the latest on the takeover and more. I'm just seeing if anything's coming out in terms of news here. Just City's dead treble celebrations, as you'd expect. That's just pretty, yeah, not just their dead treble celebrations and news on Manchester City. Nothing real interesting in terms of United coming out today. So we will probably wrap up the live stream here. Still think Douglas Luiz at Villa would suit United's midfield. Definitely be good depth for Casemiro as well. Gravenberch is still young, like 20, 21. Yeah, I think he's going to be an unreal player. Vidic will not come to United. He almost came, but we didn't pay the money. We went for Van der Beek instead, which is why he didn't come as well. But big up everybody in the live stream. Thank you everybody for watching today's live stream. We should get a big update on Qatar. We should get some clarity on Greenwood and some transfers this week. So it should be a big week ahead for United and news. So please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new, and share the video. Thank you everyone for watching. See you next time, and bye.